Intramuros, Manila. Considered the political, educational, and religious center of the Spanish Empire in the Philippines and the historic core of Manila, Intramuros used to be an opulent walled city, strategically located along the Manila Bay. It was the seat of Spanish rule from the late 16th century to the 19th century. The walls were constructed between 1500 at 70 and 1872, encompassing what was then the entire city of Manila. Up to this day, it houses many significant landmarks like the Manila Cathedral, San Agustin Church UNESCO World Heritage Site, Casa Manila, Baluarte de San Diego, and Fort Santiago, where the national hero Jose Rizal was incarcerated. Rizal Park, Manila. Situated on the southern border of Intramuros, Rizal Park is a 58-hectare historic urban park, one of the largest in Asia. Its history dates back to 1820 when Paseo de Luneta was built on the former location of Bagong Bayan. During the Spanish rule, especially in the 19th century, the park was the site of numerous public executions, the most notable were that of Rizal and the Gumburza, Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora priests. Other historic events held here were the Declaration of Philippine Independence from the United States in 1946 and the 1986 EDSA Revolution. The most outstanding landmark of the park is the Rizal Monument, where his remains lie enmarked by a statue made of bronze and granite. Declared a national park in 1955 as Luneta National Park, it was then renamed Rizal Park in 1967 in honor of the country's national hero. Other points of interest within the park are the National Museum Complex, National Museum of Natural History, the National Museum of Anthropology, National Planetarium, Independence Flagpole, Musical and Dancing Fountain, Botanical Garden, Quirino Grandstand, and San Lorenzo Ruiz Plaza. Malacañang Palace, Manila. Malacañang Palace is the official residence and office of the President of the Philippines. It has served numerous leaders, from the Spanish governor-generals to the presidents of the Republic of the Philippines. The vast palace complex, the result of numerous renovations and expansion, encompasses many office buildings, mansions, parks and gardens. Most of them follow the neoclassical and Bahay na Bato architectural styles. The most prominent buildings are the main Malacañang Palace, the new Executive Building, Mabini Hall, Bonifacio Hall, and Kalayaan Hall, Old Executive Building, which houses the Presidential Museum and Library and the former Presidential Museum. The history of Malacañang Palace dates back to the mid-18th century when it was built as a private summer house for the Spanish aristocrat, Don Luis Rocha. In the first quarter of the 19th century, it became the summer residence for the Spanish Governor-General. It survived the destruction caused by World War II. Calle Crisologo, Vigan, Ilocos Sur.
Named after a well-loved Ilocano politician and writer Mena Crisologo, Calle Crisologo is a well-preserved Spanish-era street lined with heritage houses or Bahay na Bato. The cobblestone street, stretching from Plaza Burgos to Rivero Street, was historically the business and trade center of North Luzon in the pre-colonial and Spanish colonial Philippines and where most of the residents were affluent Filipino-Chinese traders and merchants. Today, the street is still flanked with old structures and heritage houses, the majority of which were converted to museums, restaurants, shops, or hotels. You can sample some of Vigan's signature food like vegan empanada and longanisa, whether visiting during the day or at night. Calle Crisologo definitely transports you back in time. Cagsawa Ruins, Albay. Remember the iconic photo of a church's tower, or what's left of it buried in volcanic ash with the temperamental but pictures Mayon volcano in the background. The late 16th century Cagsawa Church was established by the Franciscan missionaries. The first structure was burned down by the Dutch pirates in the 17th century. It was reconstructed in the 18th century. However, the eruption of the Mayon volcano destroyed the church along with the rest of the town in the early 19th century. What we see today is what was left of the church. A portion of its tower, the Cagsawa Ruins Park, is co-managed and co-maintained by the municipal government of Daraga and the National Museum of the Philippines. It is one of the most visited tourist attractions in Albay. While there, visit the Cagsawa National Museum showcasing photos of the Mayon eruptions and other related collections. And since it's a popular attraction, there are several souvenir shops and stalls in the vicinity. Corregidor Island. Strategically situated at the mouth of Manila Bay and facing the West Philippine Sea, Corregidor Island played an important role as a military base during World War II. Nicknamed the Rock, this fortified island was part of the harbor defenses, protecting Manila Bay from enemy attacks. The island suffered massive destructions after the war. Most people assume that Corregidor is a part of Bataan because of its close physical proximity and historical ties, but it is in fact under the jurisdiction of Cavite City. Today, the whole island and its ruins remind visitors of the past and serve as war memorials. Here are some of the significant historical sites on the island: Pacific War Memorial, Malinta Tunnel, Filipino Heroes Memorial, Corregidor Lighthouse, Japanese Garden of Peace, and mile-long barracks. Leyte Landing Memorial Park.
Proclaimed a national park in July 1977, the MacArthur Leyte Landing Memorial National Park, also called MacArthur Park, was also designated as a National Historic Landmark by the National Historical Commission in 1994. This park was established in celebration of a significant event in history, the A-Day landing in October 1944, where Douglas MacArthur, together with his entourage, finally fulfilled his promise to come back and help the Philippines gain back its independence from the Japanese. A few days later, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the largest naval battle of World War II, erupted. The Memorial National Park features a shallow man-made pool with 7 bronze statues representing General Douglas MacArthur, President Sergio Osmeña Jr., Brigadier General Carlos P. Romulo, Major General Courtney Whitney, Lieutenant General Richard Sutherland, Sergeant Francisco Salveron, and William J. Don. The Memorial Park faces the San Pablo Bay Leyte Gulf.
Magellan's Cross, Cebu City. Located adjacent to Basilica Minore del Santo Niño in the heart of Cebu City, the Magellan's Cross is one of the most visited historical landmarks in Cebu. The site is said to be the exact location where Portuguese Magellan planted the cross upon his arrival in Cebu in March 1521, as stated on the marker at the bottom of the cross. The original artifact is encased inside the wooden Tindolo cross. The painted ceiling illustrates this historic event. Banawe Rice Terraces, Ifugao.
Built by the ancestors of the indigenous people of Ifugao centuries ago, the Banawe Rice Terraces was declared by the government as a national cultural treasure in 1973. These terraces embody the culture of the Ifugao people, which was largely influenced by rice cultivation and agriculture. The importance of these terraces is evident in the many agricultural rites connected to rice production. The traditional and indigenous techniques applied in building the terraces reveal the extensive knowledge of the Ifugao people in earthwork, stonework, irrigation, and the preservation of the integrity of the rice terraces. Interestingly, the Banawe Rice Terraces is not included in the UNESCO World Heritage List under the rice terraces of the Philippine Cordilleras due to the presence of modern structures in the area. However, 2 of the 5 listed are located not too far away, the Batad Rice Terraces and the Bangon Rice Terraces. The Banawe Rice Terraces are the ones that can be seen from different view decks along the main road Nueva Vizcaya Ifugao Mountain Province Road. Aguinaldo Shrine, Kawit, Cavite. Declared a national shrine in June 1964, the Aguinaldo Shrine encompasses the whole ancestral house and grounds of Emilio Aguinaldo and extends to the park across the main house. This was the site of the proclamation of Philippine independence from Spain on June 12, 1898 with the unfurling of the Philippine flag. This was also the event where the instrumental music of the Philippine national anthem was first heard. Every year, a flag-raising ceremony is held during the Independence Day celebration. Completed in 1845, the mansion has undergone renovations in 1849 and 1919. It was donated to the government by Aguinaldo himself and is currently being managed by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. The lush garden behind the mansion nestles the final resting place of Aguinaldo. The main house functions as a museum now.